Let's see what you can do, little Jackery. It won't do it. Oh, it turned off. A couple years ago, I saw a tremendous deal on this Jackery. It was a Black Friday deal. This, plus the 2 panels that came with it, was down under $1,000. And I thought, I better buy that. I'll never have an opportunity like this again. In the time since, I've come across some other brands, and these are both one of the brands that's available on Amazon at unfortunately a fraction of that price. And so today we're gonna actually compare them side by side and see how the Allpowers brand on Amazon stacks up compared to Jackery. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the build quality of these. The Jackery, if I'm honest, I mean, I've been using it for quite a while, and you can probably see that it's got some scuffs and things. It's been beat up a little bit, and it handles it really well. It holds up. I've been really impressed with the quality. It is plastic, but it's been solid, and I don't have any cracks in it or anything, and it's a pretty solid construction. The Allpowers here, I feel pretty similar in terms of like the build quality and just the durability of it. In fact, this one I used quite a bit over this last summer since I got it, and it's got some scratches and scuffs around it. I think I have definitely set it up next to the camper, and then the ground's not level up there, and then it slid down and kind of fell and stuff, and it's held up great. It's got a screen here that could easily crack, but they all do. They all have this. This is the other Allpowers that you look at it and you think, that thing looks like it's tough, right? But when you feel it, the plastic on it actually feels, I would say, a little more brittle. It feels, like in this top section, it feels like it's kind of hollow right underneath. And so if this got whacked, something got dropped on it or something, I think you'd end up with a big old crack right here in the top pretty easily. Other than that though, I mean, the corners actually I really like. It actually feels really tough compared to just a normal rounded corner. So I feel pretty good about it overall, but especially this top section I feel like would easily get damaged. Build quality on all 3 of these I feel pretty good about, but that's how they compare. But next, let's talk a little bit about the user interface, controls, features, because what they can do is great, that's one thing, but the usability is really important too. So let's go back here to the Jackery. This Jackery and the newer ones, obviously they're gonna be a little bit different, but this has 3 alternating current AC ports, 110 volt standard, no 220 volt, and that's fine. That's pretty common with these things. So it has a built-in inverter that's taking your battery, converting it to 110 volt alternating current. You just press the little button and then you plug your stuff in and it works. If you plug stuff in, don't turn on the button, it won't give you any power. You notice when I push that button, this little display turned on, but it's not backlit. So using this in the dark, you're not gonna be able to see that without like a flashlight. I have direct current too, so I can use like a car charging. You know, I've got a couple of electric coolers, and they're made to be able to plug into a wall, alternating current, or they can be plugged in into your car with the direct current. Well, with the direct current, I'm not having to invert it, and when you invert the power, you lose a little bit. And so for those coolers, actually, in anything that can run off of a car, I'll plug it into here instead of plugging it into the alternating current side, because I get a little bit more power out of it over time. It's also got a 2 USB-C ports and 2 standard USB ports. One of the USB ports is a USB 3.0 quick charge. That's what I've got. Now, as far as inputs, you can either plug it into the wall, it'll plug in to this little jack right here, or I can use a solar panel. But the solar panel, I have to use a Jackery panel, or I have to buy an adapter that converts to Jackery. And that's just how it is. Like, they're ports that are just made for Jackery, right? Now, when you buy kind of the Amazon brand panels, they have a whole bunch of little adapters. So that's something that is really cool. But if you buy the Jackery panel, it's not gonna convert to the other. Let's talk about this one, this Allpowers. I have 4 AC outlets, so 1 more than I had on the Jackery. I also have 2 and 2 on the DC ports, my USB ports, 2 USB-C and 2 standard USB-A. Neither of them is like the quick charge, so that's the difference. And I have my car port. Again, I turn this on and it's not backlit, but you can see that it's brighter. It's easier for me to read. So like in the dark, it's more lit up. Whereas this is more like trying to read like a digital watch without a light, you know, in the dark. Let's talk a little bit about charging. This uses a more standard solar charging port, which is great. It also has, this is a reset button, like a GFI kind of situation if there's an overload. It does have an internal little breaker. And then here is my wall port plug. I don't have to use like an adapter thing. The Jackery power cord has a big old box on it. This one doesn't, which is pretty cool. The other cool feature that I love is right here on top. It's got 2 wireless QI chargers just right on the top. Okay, let's go back over here to this other Allpowers. Again, power cord, just like the other one from Allpowers. A cord that plugs straight into the wall. On the front, I actually have 4 standard USB and 2 USB-C, and I have the same standard solar charging port, car charge. So really all the same things. Again, just like with the other one, you gotta push the right button. If I wanna use DC power, I gotta turn on the DC power. If I wanna use AC power, I gotta push the button. And then there's a power button here to turn on the screen. It's the same display as the other Allpowers. It's way easier to read than the one on the Jackery. In terms of functional use, I really like these ones from Allpowers. They've got all the features, everything the same as the Jackery or better. Okay, we gotta see what these things can actually power, because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't take a lot of electricity, right? Light bulbs nowadays take almost nothing. A little fan's gonna use so little, but some stuff that we use regularly uses a lot of power. So let's see if the Jackery here can handle a toaster, but not just any toaster, a double toaster. So we're gonna pop down one side, and we're gonna see and pop down the other side. Are you serious? That's drawing almost 1200 watts. 2 sides of a toaster, 1160 watts right now. That's like the max that this thing can handle. I'm curious what happens now if we turn on the air fryer. Is it just gonna overload it, or is it just gonna draw less power to each and we get weak toast? Oh, there it goes. Nope, turn back off. The little power light's kind of blinking. Here we go, 15 minutes. 450 degrees start. It popped up the toaster. Come on. Let's see what you can do, little Jackery. It won't do it. Oh, it turned off. Electric heat uses a ton of electricity. So does air conditioning. The Jackery, this is supposed to be, it's rated for 1000 watts, and it was drawing over 1000. It actually went up to almost 1200 watts with just the toaster, and it handled it okay. But that's all we're gonna get is some toast. Okay, let's see what we can do with this one. Turn on our AC. There we go. There's one. 1360 watts. So this thing maxed out and it wasn't even powering the toaster all the way. That is nuts. I could basically make toast for an hour and then I would run out of power in this whole thing. Okay, well, I'm not too surprised because this is supposed to be able to do 1152. So in both cases, these put out more than they were capable of before they shut off. All right, what about this other little Allpower? This one here, surprisingly, this one's supposed to be able to do 1451 watts. So we should be able to make toast and maybe air fry a little bit. Okay, turn on the AC power. Did you see that? It jumped to 1600 watts with just the air fryer. Okay, toaster, 1341. So the 2 sides of a toaster is easily over 1300 watts. Okay, what happens? So even though this says it has a capacity that's higher, it really did shut off at about the same point. Both of these two handled more than what they say they're supposed to be able to before shutting down. That's interesting to me. Let's see how loud these are. So while this is running full out, the fan on this right around 76 decibels. That's way quieter. It's noticeably quieter too. I missed another feature on this one. This is cool too. On this side, it has 2 ports to expand. So I can get a second Allpowers battery and plug it to this one and run them together. And they make batteries, I'd forgotten about this, but they make ones that aren't like the main controller one. They're just the battery, so it costs a little less. Or I can actually just buy another one of these and they can just stack. It's pretty cool. So it's got 2 expansion ports. See how loud the Jackery is. It's right around 66.5. Kind of in between. So this is definitely the loudest. This is in the middle, and this is absolutely the quietest. Well, that one's registering 84 watts. It's a 100-watt panel, Amazon brand. If I plug it in now, the same panel in the same spot, this one's only getting 79 watts, which is interesting, like that it just can't, it's like it doesn't convert it as well or something. Whoa, weird. So this was like laying in the grass. I wonder if some of the power was like, because now it's at 84. The other one was like 85 to 88. All right, well, let's see on the Jackery. That works. Yeah, that's just sticking right around 80, 79, 80, 81. Now here's my next question, because this is a kind of Amazon off-brand panel. This one, well, these two our Jackery panels, and one of them doesn't even work, which was really sad because they weren't cheap. And I'm curious, I can get more power out of that versus that. I think they're about the same angle. Okay, that's the one that doesn't work. No, not as much. 46, 47. And that one's still doing 76, 77, even though I was kind of blocking part of it. Yeah, I'm not sure I have any reason to believe that any of those off brands on Amazon are any worse for the panels. And I just was looking and I found, I think it's the same brand as this one, a 200 watt panel that I could get for like $150. It was a different brand than this one, but it was another just Amazon, kind of Amazon special. Okay, now let's do a pass-through test. For this, what we want to see is while they're charging on solar, can they also power other stuff? Now, I think they're all going to be able to, but we're going to see. But the Jackery specifically says not to. I'm pretty sure with this Allpowers, it will say not to as well. With this ternary lithium battery, that's just going to reduce the battery life. They warn you that it works, but it's going to reduce the battery life. With the lithium iron, polonium, I don't know, the LiFePO 4 batteries, it's less of an issue. But let's test it and let's see if they'll even let you do it. Because sometimes you kind of got it. So I got a blow dryer here. That's on high heat, but it's using over 1,400 watts. It just blows my mind. Okay, so I got 46 watts going in and 1,400 coming out, and it's letting me do it just fine. Let's see now on this one that's also still, well, it's plugged in, but I closed it up. I like that all these solar panels too, on the back, they have a little, they have little charging ports. So like you could plug straight into like a USB power bank or something, or just get power straight, like to charge your phone off of one of these. Yeah, it's working just fine. I should probably turn it to cool air. Okay, we're gonna switch over here. Okay, let's wait to make sure it's getting power input. There it goes. Output. Yeah. 1,660 watts. Not quite enough to power the DeLorean, but it's something. So that brings us to the end, and really the big question that's probably still on everybody's minds is, how do these things compare in cost? The answer is, what time is it? Because the cost on these things is changing so fast. It's amazing. Again, when I bought this one, I paid, I think, just under $1,000 for this plus the 2 panels. Now I can buy this on Amazon, if you can still find it, for about $600. There's the newer version, which is the LiFePO 4, which I would absolutely do, by the way. If you're buying a solar generator, I would look for that LiFePO 4 or newer. Like that's what you're gonna want. But that one is gonna run today. I just went and looked because of the sales going on. It's gonna be a little bit more expensive than this one, but not a whole lot. The list price on the new version of the Jackery is about $1,500, and that's for the 2,000 watt, which is comparable to this at 2,000 watts, but this one is like $500. Although I think the list price is like $800. They're never the actual price, their list price. In fact, if you ever see them on Amazon or anywhere else, if they're for sale at the list price, just wait a week because they're gonna go on sale again. And that brings us to kind of the final point here, and that is, which one should you buy? It really depends. First of all, if you're gonna be combining multiples of these, I really love the Allpowers, and with the extendable batteries ports, that's gonna make it so they're all connected, and it's just gonna be beautiful. It's not the only brand that does that, but it's, for an inexpensive brand, it's great that it does that. And I love the QI charger on top. But other than that, I could really go either way. I love that Jackery is a brand with a name, and they stand behind it. It's probably the biggest name in solar generators and these kinds of batteries at this point. The kind of guarantees and stuff that you're gonna get, that one panel I have that's not working, if I'd realized before now it wasn't working, I'm sure they would have made it right for me. That's kind of on me. If the price is comparable today and you need one, go buy the Jackery. Chances are, if you need it and you need it quick, you're gonna save a lot of money by going with Allpowers. If you can wait, Black Friday was when I bought mine and it was like half price of what the list price is. And at that point, you're probably gonna be able to get a great deal if the name brand matters to you and the guarantees that come with it. Thanks for joining us today here on Fixter, where we're gonna be testing out all sorts of stuff. We're gonna be fixing all sorts of stuff and improving our homes, and we're gonna do it all ourselves. Thanks for joining us. We'll see y'all next time.